came to Josephine City around 1970. I remember when the church was courting my father, it was like a adventure trip for us children. I was around 6 years old, and we lived in Washington, D.C., in the famous part of D.C., Southeast. And we would leave, and I remember the exit, and the further we went, it seemed like the cleaner the air became. When you cross that mountain, it's a new atmosphere. And we were pulled into Josephine, and my sister, she didn't like it because of the dust and all that kind of stuff. And we were pulled in, and the street was not paved at that time. There was bushes and trees, and see, this stuff we didn't see down in D.C. And we were pulled in a little white house with green shutters. And I'll never forget one weekend we left D.C. and we did not return. And we would be sitting in the house, and when cars went by, the dust would come into the house. It was a big change for us. But my father had work to do. And I remember growing up on the street. Brother Gene hit so many points. There were so many children, we didn't have problems finding friends. There was one young man that used to come. He had figured out about the time that we would arrive, and he would be waiting at the gate or waiting at the end of the bushes for us to arrive, Reverend Charles Woodruff. And then a couple of my crew, Perky, Chucky. One person that sticks out in my mind is Sister Rosetta Clay. I don't know if she's here or not. Oh, amen. She was one of those that made sure that I walked the chalk line. I hung out with Perky and Charles and Chucky. And she would take us to basketball practice and football practice. And she taught us many lessons of life. There's so many here today that have been a part of my life and have helped me to grow to be who I am today. And Josephine was a special place, still is a special place in this world today. The world, just like Pastor Wilson said, has taken us away from the family atmosphere. And that's what Josephine City is all about. For the first time, I found out that even if mom and dad couldn't see me, there were folks that were watching. All right. And I remember that time where there was no telephone. And Perky and I put together a saying. Telephone, telefax, tell Annie. Miss Annie lives. I'm talking about. Miss Annie lived a few houses up here on the left at one point in my growing up. And I was trying to figure out how my father and mother knew what I was doing. All the time. My father said, "Boy, you been speeding." I said, "Well, no, Dad, I haven't been speeding." "Yes, Sister Annie said." I remember one time I was babysitting my siblings, and the sister closest to me, and one of her friends was in the house. And I was, everybody was quiet and stuff, so I was chilling, watching TV. And at this time, we did have telephones. And Miss Annie called, she said, Where's Angela? I was like, she's downstairs in the basement. And she said, well, you better check. She was a unique person. She loved us. But she made sure also that we were walking the right way. You know, I just thank God for people like that. The other thing, when we first came, we were real skinny and whatnot. As you can see, that changed. But I remember there were several meeting points on the street for the children. When I came, I had a whole bunch of toys, and we had a Batmobile, and there was like a little miniature car type thing, and the children would come, Turtle, and Baby Legans, and Kirk. Now, I mean, we were all together, and we would be up here playing. The other place that we met was at the Page House. Yeah, the Page House was Grand Central Station. Amen. And I found someone at the Page House that's now my wife. So I can say I'm a part of the crew. Miss Thelma, she would feed us applesauce and applesauce cake, macaroni and cheese. I mean, you could go. Yeah, I put on some pounds. Amen. But it was a family atmosphere. I remember Mr. Johnny, Deacon Johnny Lampkin, and how he taught me responsibility. And I didn't ask for a job; he gave me a job. They didn't allow us just to sit around. That's right. And get in to certain things. We had to leave and go away from this place. And just like Pastor Wilson said, it was a rich atmosphere as far as raising children and growing up. Because everybody was together. Everyone was on one accord. I'm thinking about the way the streets were put in and the lighting and all of that. It was because Josephine came together and they were with each other and they were on one accord and they kept God first. And that's why you see what you see today. And I'm just thankful to God that the church was definitely the center of the community. I remember we would come and there'd be, I don't know, sometimes I just stopped counting the children. Wilson also talked about his father. His father, whether I don't know if he knows it or not, but his father is responsible, along with Onyx Dale, Patsy Hopper, a few other folks, for me learning the Bible. Mr. Lawrence taught us how to navigate the Bible. Amen? So did Onyx Dale. And Patsy came along. Oh, Miss Patsy, I have to say that because she is an elder of mine. And they taught us truths from the Bible. And that's really important that you have that peace in your life. And even though we might have strayed, Pastor, you strayed? Yeah, even though we might have strayed, we had a foundation that was set for us. And you want to talk about folks who love you. See, if you don't care about a person, you won't chastise them. I remember several times, even Dee Dee, I don't know where she is, she said she stayed in the background. But when she would babysit us when we first got here, if we got out of line, she spanked us. She said, "I'll beat you." And when I got here, she told me, "You make sure you get here by 11 o'clock. And I guess she is the mayor because she don't play. But, and I was a little late. but I was on time. Ain't that right? But she said, I should have beat you one more time. I said, Diddy, go on, girl. But there is a deep family atmosphere, a deep love. And it's not just a love that loves when things are going good, but it's also a love that comes and sticks together when things aren't quite right. Well, is it time for me to stop, Diddy? Is that what it is? Reverend Wilson said one more thing. He said, today we don't focus as much on community as we used to. And that's because the Prince of the Air. And he wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And Josephine City is here today, and I believe it's going to go on for until the Lord comes back. What we must do is make sure that we concentrate on that community love, and that we receive and accept everyone with open arms, but that we also keep God first, and that we walk and we move as he says that we walk and we move. Sometimes we get down, but you know what? God is the one that's going to bring us out. Some of us have gotten in trouble, but we've come out of the trouble. But we must focus on him and continue in him as a community. And this change from D.C. to Burryville was a milestone in my life, but it was also, as Reverend Wilson said, a preparing for what I am doing right now for God. And Josephine, I know we're proud. Amen? But there's more work to do. Work while it's day, because when night cometh, no man can work. So let us continue to have that zeal and that purpose in life to move forward. I just wanted to give a couple of things as far as my take on what was going on in Josephine City. And Josephine City releases and produces quality product. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Yes, and we must continue. We must continue. God bless you.